Today, we're going to tackle a really tough topic for so many people, sciatica. We're going to dive into a super practical guide based on the work of certified lymphologist Sean Connell to give you a clear, actionable roadmap for not just understanding that pain, but actually getting some relief. So let's get right into it.
Does that sound painfully familiar? If you're nodding your head right now, you are absolutely in the right place. That very specific traveling pain is the classic signature of sciatica, and today we're going to figure out what to do about it. Okay, first things first. You can't really fix a problem until you understand what's actually causing it. So what is going on in your body that's creating that very unique, very frustrating pain? So here's the key takeaway. Sciatica isn't just some generic bad back. It is a nerve issue. And it's not just any nerve. It's the sciatic nerve, which happens to be the longest and widest single nerve in your entire body. It's a big deal.
Just take a look at this map of the nerve's incredible path. You can see how it starts way up in the lower spine, travels right through your glutes, and then goes all the way down the back of your leg. And that path is exactly why the pain can feel so widespread and, honestly, so debilitating.
And this, right here, this illustrates the problem perfectly. On the left, you've got a happy, healthy nerve with plenty of room to breathe. But on the right, it's getting pinched, it's being compressed. And that pressure is what triggers all those awful sensations. Everything from a dull ache to that sharp, shooting pain, or even something that feels like a little electric shock.
So what's causing that compression in the first place? Well, as you can see, it could be a few different culprits. A herniated disc is a really common one, but it could also be something like spinal stenosis, which is just a fancy way of saying the spinal canal is narrowing. It could even be a super tight muscle in your glutes. That's called piriformis syndrome. And of course, our modern lifestyles, sitting too much, poor posture, they play a huge role too.
Okay, now that we know what it is, let's do a really quick self-check. This will help you figure out if what you're feeling is likely sciatica. Just a few quick yes or no questions coming your way. First up, is the pain radiating down just one of your legs? This is a huge clue because sciatica almost always affects only one side of the body at a time.
How about this one? Does the pain seem to get way worse after you've been sitting for a while, or maybe standing in one spot for too long? That constant pressure from being in one position often really aggravates that compressed nerve.
And finally, is the pain showing up with any other weird sensations? Like pins and needles, a bit of numbness, or maybe even a feeling that your leg or foot is a little weak.
Okay, so if you found yourself saying yes to two or more of those questions, there's a pretty good chance that sciatica is what you're dealing with. But, and this is the important part, the good news is we're now moving on to the solutions. Think of what's next as your personal sciatica first aid kit.
All right, enough with understanding the problem, let's get into action. In this section, we're going to cover two incredibly powerful techniques that are designed to give you relief pretty much right away by tackling inflammation and getting your body back into balance.
Okay, this first technique is a real game changer. It's a simple little reset for your hips and legs. First, just stand up and check your alignment. You might be surprised to notice that one hip actually sits a little lower than the other. That's a sign of imbalance. So here's what you do. Using both of your hands, just stroke firmly down over both hips 11 times. Then do the exact same thing down your spine 11 times. It sounds so simple, but what you're doing is helping boost circulation and encouraging drainage, which reduces the inflammation that's pulling you out of alignment. Now, after you've done that, check your stance again. You should feel a subtle but immediate rebalancing.
Next up, a classic for a reason. Hot and cold therapy. But listen, there's a right way and a wrong way to do this. The secret is the order. You have to start with cold, an ice pack for about 15 minutes. This is your go-to for calming down that sharp initial inflammation. After that, you can switch to heat, like a heating pad or a warm bath. The heat will help relax those super tight muscles and improve blood flow to the area. So remember, cold first, then heat. Now those first aid tricks are fantastic for relief in the moment. But if we really want to conquer sciatica for good, we have to start thinking long-term. This whole section is about building a lifestyle that helps prevent the pain from coming back in the first place.
Movement is truly your medicine here. And I'm not talking about intense, painful workouts. It's all about gentle, supportive exercise. Focus on stretching those tight muscles around your hips and hamstrings. Bring in some low-impact cardio, like walking or swimming, to get your blood flowing without jarring your spine. And strengthening your core with things like planks and bridges, well, that's like building a natural back brace for your lower back.
What you eat plays a massive role in managing inflammation.
You can either fuel the fire with certain foods, or you can help put it out with what's on your plate. Let's take a look at what that means.
It's actually pretty simple. You want to add more nutrient-dense, whole foods into your diet. Think leafy greens like spinach and kale, fish that's packed with omega-3s like salmon, and all those antioxidant-rich berries and nuts. And at the same time, you just want to limit the stuff we know causes inflammation. Things like processed foods, tons of sugar, and refined carbs.
All right, we have covered a lot of ground. So how do we pull all of this together into a daily routine that you can actually stick with? Let's build a simple, actionable plan that makes these habits stick.
Think of this as your daily cheat sheet. Can you start your day with just 10 minutes of gentle stretching? Absolutely. If you work at a desk, take a few minutes to make sure it's set up correctly. Set a timer to get up and move around for a couple of minutes every hour or so. Try to build your meals around those anti-inflammatory foods we talked about. And finally, wind down in the evening with a little relaxation. See? Individually, none of these are huge commitments, but when you put them all together, they make a world of difference.
And that really brings us to the most important takeaway from all of this. This isn't about making some massive, drastic change overnight. It's all about consistency. It's the small, daily wins that add up over time to create real, lasting relief from sciatica pain.
So, I'll leave you with this to think about. Looking at everything we've covered, what is the one small, manageable change that you can commit to starting today? Because that very first step is the beginning of your journey to a pain-free future. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.